The truth is that God can meet with men, or God can work or handle a case or deal with men anywhere. The truth still remains that God can, we can talk to God anywhere and God will hear us. But when you study the Bible, you found out that even though God can minister to us anywhere, God did not design our relationship for us to be ministered to anywhere always. If there's emergency, it's okay, but there must be a designated place from where we gather. Because many of the apostles, they always go to the house. There's a place of meeting God. So as a believer, you must have an altar. And if you want to ask me, I'll say yes, a physical place. Because one of the reasons why many Christians don't command supernatural like we should, in my own opinion, is as a result of not having a designated place where they meet with God. Now, when I was growing up, they talk about quiet time. They told us that quiet time can be anywhere, but it must be a quiet place. Say, this is a designated place. And in those days, when you have found a place, you have found a place. It can be a bush where if you get to that place, you see that heaven over you opens. It can be the toilet. We have that fellowship. Then beyond that, if you understand the concept of altar, the altar, I can say, is the landing place of the Spirit. What the airport is to an aeroplane is what an altar is to the Spirit. The spirits are being summoned from the altar, and they are being assigned also to move from the altar. So they comes up and they move. That is why we can command them, because we have to pull them. We have to send them. So the airport of the Spirit is the altar. The airport of the Spirit is the altar. You must have an altar. It can be in your house. It can be anywhere. But above all, you also have a place bigger than you that you call an altar. As a child of God, that may be your place of worship, your church. So altar is important. And let's see what makes altar an altar. What gives altar? Let's look at what gives altar is power. Sacrifices is the power of the altar. Sacrifices is what enables the altar to speak. And as believers, there are 4 kinds of sacrifices we are supposed to bring before God. And as a particular order, I want to present it to you. If you want your altar to be speaking altar, to be powerful, to be strong, follow this pattern of sacrifice. And as the Lord demands, compels in your heart, do it. And you will discover that you as a mobile altar, that you'll be speaking and be commanding the spirits and they will obey. Number 1 is sacrifice of yourself. The Bible says, offer yourself a living sacrifice. The first sacrifice you bring on the altar is the sacrifice of yourself. You have to sacrifice yourself. Sacrifice yourself does not mean killing yourself. It's coming to a point where you say to God, the life that I live is no longer mine. Whether I live for you. Whether I'm dead for you. I will never allow myself, my agenda, my intention to interfere with your leading, to interfere with what you are saying. I'm like a robot to you. Yes, that is it. It's more of anywhere you lead me, I will go. Whatever you say, I will do. That is it. Sacrifice of self. I live for the glory of God. I live for everything that will give God joy. Sacrifice of self. Number 2, a sacrifice of prayer. Prayer is a sacrifice. Prayer is a sacrifice. Prayer is a sacrifice. Wow. Of course, there are types of prayer that becomes a sacrifice. When you pray for yourself, it's less a sacrifice. But when you set out time, crying, groaning, and you are interceding or you are into warfare, not because of your need, but because there is this divine agenda that God has impressed in your heart to pray about. You are offering prayer as a sacrifice. I'm not saying that praying for yourself is not, but this is it, man. When you focus on divine agenda, kingdom prayers, you are offering prayer as sacrifice. Maybe you look at your local church, that this brother that is backsliding. You look at their local church, that this project that God have assigned the church to do, the resources are not coming. Men are not cooperating. The thing that is being needed for the project is not there. And you go to the place of prayer. Are you benefiting from it? Physically speaking, selfishly speaking? No. But you take it as a burden to pray that God will do wonders. Or for instance, the case of a brother is backsliding. You are praying, you are trusting God. And when they call prayer point in the church, a lot of people does it. Whenever you are calling prayer point and you call the prayer point that is not personally touching them, they don't pray it. They will log out. But when you call prayer point that has to do with them, they'll connect back. So join in praying for the kingdom becomes a sacrifice. Number 3 is thanksgiving. Offer the sacrifice of thanks. Thanksgiving is a sacrifice. Whenever you show forth in the altar, on the altar of God, these sacrifices must be there. Sacrifice of thanks, lifting up holy hands, appreciating Him for what He has done, for what He's doing, and for what He will do. And finally, it is sacrifice of sacrificial giving, material giving, material giving, material giving, making a physical sacrifice. If you engage these 4 keys, any altar will always speak for you. As in, your altar will speak for you. Any altar that received this sacrifice, the altar of God, that received this sacrifice will always speak for you. And power can always speak for you. God wants you to succeed. I pray that God will speak to you and throw more light on this to the glory of His holy name. See you at the top child of God where you belong.